Hey, it's Nicole here, and today we are going to talk about pulls. Now, what is a pull? A pull is when basically your wrap gets snagged on something and one of the threads comes up and forms a loop. Nothing is broken, it's just literally pulled out of the wrap itself. Now, a lot of people get really freaked out by pulls, but they're actually pretty easy to fix if you've got a little bit of time and some patience. And it doesn't affect the safety of your wrap per se, but you want to fix them because if you don't, they're going to get bigger and then they could turn into broken threads, which are no good. So the best time, in my opinion, to fix a pull is right before it goes into the wash, because then you'll have the washer and the dryer to kind of help you work it back in. So you can see I've got a pretty sizable one here, but nothing too scary. And essentially what you're going to do is I'm going to follow this thread and work it back into the fabric. Now there are different tricks that you can use when you're going to put your pull back into your wrap. Some people, depending on the wrap, you're gonna want to employ different things. I like one of these really bright LED lights so I can see the weave along the way. Some people like to put a flashlight up against the back of the wrap too to be able to see. I have put a wrap up against a bright window so that I could see the thread through the back as well. But essentially what we're gonna do, and I'll try to get it as close as I can down here. Essentially what you're going to do is we've got our pull, and I'm going to work toward the middle of the wrap with this one, and I'm just going to start to test and see, look, I've got a second thread and it's moving through. So all I'm going to do is pull that to where it's almost all the way back in the wrap. Essentially you want it to be not pulled tight so you just have a second spot, but pretty close. And then like I come over and I can test a little bit to find out where my thread is next. And those don't work. Here we go. So as you can see, what I'm doing is sliding my needle underneath where the thread is on the other side and just tugging very slightly, kind of resetting, tugging. Now I bring it down almost all the way, and then I follow my thread to where it resurfaces. And I'm like picking the wrong ones tonight. You want to be very gentle, because if you don't want to create more pulls as you're trying to fix the one. And this one's kind of buried back in here. There it is. And you can see I've just followed this same thread there we go. And you can see, compared to what my pull was originally, it's gotten much smaller. And you can see these little lumps next to it. That's normal. We're gonna take care of that eventually. Give this, but it's getting smaller and smaller. I keep pulling it closer than I should. There it is. So now, basically, my pull has got all these little nubbies. And I'm going to lift this up so you can maybe see it a little easier. When you pull apart, you can hardly see it at all, but you can see these tiny little lumps along here. And I'm just going to give my wrap a nice pull in all directions. And essentially what you're doing is working the thread back into the weave. And you can pull it, you know, you wear a baby in it, you can give it a little bit of a hard pull. Different pulls will work back in differently. As you can see, it's kind of got a few left here. Again, pull in all directions and see where we end up. Yeah, this looks good. There's a couple little nubbies that kind of need to work back in, but the nice thing is that I'm going to toss this in the wash now, and it's all cotton wrap, so I can toss it in the dryer as well, and that's pretty much going to take care of these last couple of little things in here. But essentially, even if I didn't throw it in the wash right now, this is now better to wear, and actually would probably work completely in if I wore my baby in it, depending on where your pull is. So there you go. And when it's done, it's going to not be able to, it's not going to look like there was anything there to begin with, and you fixed it. So when you find a pull, don't freak out. Something that's an easy fix on any wrap, and yeah, let us know if you have any questions.